Okay, here's a horror story about a food delivery, written to fit your specifications. The last meal. The rain was a greasy curtain outside my window, blurring the neon glow of the city into a sickly, pulsating smear. Perfect weather for a night in, which is exactly what I'd planned. Pizza, a bad movie, and the blessed oblivion of sleep. I scrolled through the delivery app, my stomach rumbling like a disgruntled engine. Mama Rosa's, I finally settled on. Their pepperoni pizza boasting of authentic Italian herbs and a secret family recipe. Sounded good. Too good, maybe, now that I think about it. The app estimated a 45-minute wait. Plenty of time to change into my pajamas and doomscroll through social media. 45 minutes bled into an hour. Then an hour and 15. Annoyance gnawed at me, sharper than hunger. I checked the app driver en route. Right. Finally, the notification pinged on my phone. Driver arrived. Relief washed over me. I grabbed my wallet and buzzed the delivery guy in. The lobby intercom crackled, static spitting between words. Delivery. Mama. Rosa's. It sounded garbled, strained. Come on up, I said, trying to inject some cheer into my voice. The intercom went silent. A minute later, a knock echoed through the hallway. I opened the door. The figure standing there wasn't what I expected. I pictured some harried teenager, backpack bulging with pizza boxes. This was different. He was tall, gaunt, almost skeletal, wrapped in a dark, heavy coat that seemed to swallow him whole. His face was obscured by the deep shadow cast by the brim of a stained, wide-brimmed hat. The only thing I could make out was the unnaturally pale skin of his hands and a glint of something metallic in his right hand. He didn't speak. He just held out a pizza box, the Mama Rosa's logo smeared and faded. A strange, almost sweet, odor wafted from it. Thanks, I said, my voice wavering slightly. Something about this guy made the hairs on the back of my neck prickle. I reached for the box. His grip tightened. Payment, he rasped, his voice a low, gravelly rumble that seemed to vibrate in my chest. I fumbled for my wallet, my fingers suddenly clumsy. Right, of course. Sorry. I pulled out a 20 and handed it to him. He didn't take it. He just stared, the shadow under the hat seeming to deepen. Payment, he repeated, his voice gaining a strange sort of emphasis. A shiver crawled down my spine. I don't understand. This is $20. The pizza was 18 plus tip. He remained silent, his grip on the pizza box unyielding. The sweet smell intensified, making my stomach churn. It was cloying, overwhelming, like overripe fruit on the verge of decay. I swallowed hard. Look, man, I'm tired. I'm hungry. Just take the money and go. His head tilted slightly. A sliver of his face emerged from the shadow. His eye, just one. It was milky white, like a pearl, and utterly devoid of a pupil. It stared at me with an unnerving intensity, a cold, blank gaze that seemed to pierce through me. Fear, raw and primal, seized me. This wasn't just some weird delivery guy. This was something else. I tried to pull the pizza box away, but his grip was like iron. Fear turned to panic. Let go, I shouted, my voice cracking. He didn't respond. He just pulled the pizza box closer to his chest, shielding it from me. Then, slowly, deliberately, he opened it. The smell that escaped the box was overwhelming, nauseating. It wasn't just sweet anymore. It was acrid, rotten, tinged with something metallic and fleshy. I gagged. I couldn't see the pizza clearly, but I could see something on top. Something writhing. That was enough. I slammed the door shut, my heart pounding against my ribs like a trapped bird. I fumbled with the lock, my hands shaking so badly I could barely get the key in. I heard a soft, wet thud against the door, followed by a low, guttural moan. I finally managed to lock the door and stumbled backward, away from the entrance. I pressed my back against the wall, my breath coming in ragged gasps. What the hell was that? I cautiously peered through the peephole. The hallway was empty. The only sign that anything had happened was a dark, viscous stain spreading beneath the door. The stench, though fainter, still lingered in the air. I didn't sleep that night. I sat huddled on my couch, every creak and groan of the building amplified in the oppressive silence. Every shadow seemed to writhe, every sound seemed to whisper. I kept the lights on, all of them, and stared at the door, waiting for something to break through. Dawn finally arrived, painting the sky with a weak, anemic light. I felt drained, exhausted, but alive. I tiptoed to the door, my heart still hammering in my chest. The stain was still there, darker now, almost black. It smelled even worse in the cold morning light. I took a deep breath and cautiously opened the door. The hallway was empty. The pizza box was gone. But the stench clung to the air like a shroud. And the stain, it seemed to pulse, faintly, as if something still lived within it. I called the police. I tried to explain what had happened, but the words sounded ridiculous even to my own ears. A creepy delivery guy? A weird pizza? They took my statement, a bored, dismissive look in their eyes. They said they'd investigate, but I knew they wouldn't. I cleaned the stain myself, scrubbing until my arms ached. But the smell wouldn't go away. It lingered in the air, a constant reminder of what had happened. I tried to forget. I tried to convince myself that it was a hallucination, a nightmare brought on by stress and hunger. But I couldn't. The memory of that milky white eye, the feel of that iron grip, the stench, it was all too real. Days turned into weeks. I stopped ordering delivery, stopped eating pizza altogether. I became obsessed with cleanliness, scrubbing my apartment until it gleamed. But the smell was always there, lurking just beneath the surface. Then one night it happened again. I was lying in bed, trying to sleep, when I heard it, a soft, wet thud against the door. The same sound I'd heard before. I froze, my blood turning to ice. I didn't breathe. I didn't move. I just listened. Another thud. Then another. Each one closer, each one louder. Then a low, guttural moan. The same moan I'd heard before. Panic seized me. I scrambled out of bed, my heart pounding in my chest. I ran to the door and peered through the peephole. The hallway was dark, but I could see it. A figure standing in the shadows, shrouded in a dark coat and hat. The same figure. He raised his hand. In it, he held a pizza box. The Mama Rosa's logo gleamed faintly in the dim light. He opened the box. The stench hit me, a wave of putrid sweetness that made me gag. I could see it now, the pizza. It wasn't pizza at all. It was a mound of flesh, raw and glistening, covered in writhing things. Maggots, maybe, or something worse. His milky white eye stared at me through the peephole. He raised the pizza box higher as if offering it to me. Then he spoke. His voice was a low, guttural rasp, laced with a chilling familiarity. Payment is due. I screamed. I stumbled backward, away from the door, clutching my head in my hands. I didn't know what to do. I couldn't call the police. They wouldn't believe me. Couldn't run. He'd find me. I was trapped. Then I remembered something. Something I'd read online, a forum about strange occurrences and paranormal phenomena. Someone had mentioned Mama Rosa's. Someone had warned against ordering from them. The post had said that Mama Rosa's wasn't a real restaurant. It was a front for something else, something darker. They said that the pizza was a sacrifice, an offering to some ancient entity. They said that if you refused to pay, if you refused to accept the offering, the entity would come for you. I understood now. The payment wasn't money. It was something else, something personal. I ran to my desk and opened the top drawer. Inside I found it, a small silver locket. It contained a picture of my mother, who had passed away a few years ago. It was the most precious thing I owned. I hesitated. Could I really do this? Could I give up the only thing I had left of her? But then I thought of that milky white eye, the stench of rotting flesh, the writhing things. I made my decision. I walked back to the door, my hands trembling. I took a deep breath and opened the peephole. He was still there, waiting. The pizza box still open. I unlocked the door and slowly opened it. He didn't move. He just stared at me, his milky white eye gleaming in the darkness. I held out the locket. "This is my payment," I said, my voice barely a whisper. He tilted his head, as if considering. Then, slowly, he reached out and took the locket from my hand. He examined it for a moment, his pale fingers tracing the silver surface. Then he closed the pizza box and turned away. He walked down the hallway and disappeared into the darkness. I stood there for a long time, staring at the empty hallway. The stench was gone. The fear was gone. But the emptiness remained. I closed the door and locked it. Then I went back to bed. I slept soundly that night. For the first time in weeks, I didn't dream. The next morning, I woke up feeling different, lighter somehow, as if a great weight had been lifted from my shoulders. I went to the door and opened it. The hallway was empty. There was no sign that anything had happened. I walked outside and looked around. The sun was shining. The birds were singing. The world seemed normal. But I knew it wasn't. I knew that something had changed. I knew that I had made a deal with something dark and terrible. And I knew that one day the payment would come due again. I just hoped I would have something left to offer. I still get food deliveries. I just make sure it's not from anywhere new, and I make my presence as invisible as possible. But sometimes when I am alone at night, I think I can smell something sweet and putrid coming through my door, and I know it is coming back.